The transport ship shook as it docked with Kepler Station. Dr. Kim Tae-ho pressed his face against the small window and watched the massive research facility grow larger. The station looked like a giant metal flower floating in space. Its silver petals were actually different research wings connected to a central hub. Tae-ho had never seen anything so big. He was just a simple animal doctor from Seoul. 3 months ago, aliens had landed on Earth. They called themselves the Galactic Council. They wanted to learn about Earth's animals. They said humans could come to their station to help with research. The airlock opened with a soft hiss. Tae-ho grabbed his small bag and stepped into the station. The air smelled strange. It was too clean, like a hospital that had been scrubbed with chemicals for days. A tall blue alien waited for him. The creature had 4 arms and eyes that glowed yellow. It wore a white coat with symbols that Tae-ho could not read. "You are the human-animal expert?" the alien asked. Its voice sounded like metal scraping against stone. "Yes, sir. I am Dr. Kim Tae-ho. I study animal behavior. I am Director Valix. Follow me. We have much to show you." They walked through long corridors with white walls. Other aliens stopped their work to stare at Tae-ho. Some looked curious. Others seemed scared. A few made clicking sounds that might have been laughter. "Your people are very small," Valix said as they walked. "We wondered how such weak creatures survived on a planet full of monsters." Tae-ho frowned. "Monsters? We don't have monsters on Earth. We have animals. You will see what I mean." They took a lift that moved so fast Tae-ho's stomach flipped. When the doors opened, they were in a different part of the station. This area felt dangerous. Red lights blinked on the walls. Signs with alien writing covered every door. "This is Research Wing 7, Valix explained. "We keep the most dangerous specimens here, the creatures that have killed our staff." They stopped at a thick metal door with a small window. Valix pressed his hand on a scanner. The door unlocked with several loud clicks. "Look through the observation window," Valix said, "but do not get too close, it can sense fear." Tae-ho stepped up to the window and peered inside. What he saw made his heart stop. A Siberian tiger paced back and forth in a small white room. The beautiful orange and black striped cat looked thin and sick. Its fur was dull. Its eyes held a wild desperation that Tae-ho recognized. He had seen that same look in animals at bad zoos. "That is what your people call a tiger," Valix said. "We captured it 3 months ago during our first visit to Earth. It has killed 2 of our best trainers and injured 3 others." Tae-ho could not look away from the tiger. The animal was magnificent even in its suffering. It was a female, probably around 8 years old. Someone had given her a name tag that read Raja in both human and alien writing. "Where did you find her?" Tae-ho asked. "In a place called Siberia. Our scouts said it was hunting alone in the snow. We thought it would be easy to capture since it was by itself." Tae-ho's chest tightened. "Tigers are solitary animals. They're supposed to hunt alone. And her name is Raja. That's not even a female name." "Names do not matter. It is a killer. Watch." As if on cue, a small robot entered Raja's enclosure. It carried a metal bowl of raw meat. The tiger immediately crouched low and snarled, her ears flattened against her head. The robot moved closer. Raja backed into a corner. When the machine got within 6 feet, the tiger exploded into action. She leaped forward with incredible speed and power. Her claws scraped against the robot's metal surface as she tried to destroy it. Alarms began to ring. The robot quickly left the food and retreated. Raja stood over the bowl, panting hard. She looked around the room with wild eyes before finally eating the meat in quick, desperate bites. "You see?" Valix said. "Pure aggression. No intelligence, just killing instinct." Tae-ho watched Raja finish eating. After she was done, the tiger walked to the far corner of her cage and lay down. She rested her head on her paws and closed her eyes. But Tae-ho could see her muscles were still tense. She was not really sleeping, she was guarding herself. "She's not aggressive," Tae-ho said quietly. "She's terrified." "Impossible. Our experts have studied it for months. The creature attacks anything that enters its space. Because you're scaring her. Look at this room. It's like a prison cell. Tigers need space to roam. They need places to hide. They need to feel safe. Valix made a sound that might have been laughter. Safe? It is a predator. It exists to kill. We must control it with strength. That's not how animals work. Fear makes them dangerous. Kindness makes them calm. Kindness? Another alien had joined them. This one was shorter than Valix, but had the same blue skin. His eyes were red instead of yellow. I am Chief Researcher. Zephon. I have been studying this beast since we captured it. Zephon looked at Taiho with disgust. Humans are too emotional. You see a killer and think it needs friendship. This is why your species is still primitive. What happened to the trainers? Who died? Taiho asked. They were trying to teach it simple commands. The beast turned on them without warning, tore them apart with its claws and teeth. What methods did they use for training? Zephon smiled coldly. The most effective ones. Electric stimulation, loud sounds, isolation until it learned to obey. Taiho felt sick. You were torturing her. We were establishing dominance. All animals respond to superior force. Not tigers. Tigers are intelligent. They remember everything. If you hurt them, they will defend themselves. Enough. Valix interrupted. You are here to observe and report. Nothing more. The creature will be moved to a maximum security facility next week. There it will be studied properly. What kind of studies? Brain dissection. Genetic analysis. We want to understand what makes Earth animals so violent. Taiho stared through the window at Raja. The tiger had not moved from her corner. She looked so alone and frightened. Her cage was barely big enough for her to take 5 steps in any direction. There were no toys, no hiding places, nothing that would make a tiger feel comfortable. Can I spend some time observing her behavior? Taiho asked. Just watching from outside the cage. I might be able to help you understand why she acts the way she does. Zephon shook his head. Too dangerous. Humans are weak. If the containment failed, you would be killed instantly. But I know tigers. I've worked with big cats before. The decision is made, Valix said. You may observe from here for 30 minutes each day, that is all. As they walked away, Taiho looked back at the observation window. Raja had lifted her head and was staring directly at him. For just a moment, their eyes met. Taiho saw something in those golden eyes that the aliens had missed completely. Intelligence, sadness, and a desperate hope that someone, somewhere, might understand that she was not a monster. She was just a frightened animal who wanted to go home. Taiho made a silent promise to the tiger. He would find a way to help her. Even if the aliens thought he was just a primitive human, he knew something they did not. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is be gentle. For 3 days, Taiho watched Raja through the observation window. He took notes on everything the tiger did. When she ate, when she paced, when she tried to sleep. What he saw made him angry and sad. Raja was showing all the signs of severe stress. She walked the same path over and over again. She barely slept. When she did rest, any small sound would make her jump up and look for danger. This was not the behavior of a natural killer. This was the behavior of an animal that had been broken by fear. Taiho also watched the alien researchers work. They treated Raja like a dangerous machine instead of a living creature. They used robots for everything. They never spoke softly to her. They made loud noises to get her attention. They had no idea they were making everything worse. On the 4th day, Taiho met another human on the station. Dr. Park Mina was a security specialist. She had short black hair and quick, intelligent eyes. She found Taiho in the observation room, staring at Raja. You must be the animal doctor, Mina said. I heard they brought someone from Earth to study the killer cat. She's not a killer, Taiho replied. She's just scared. Mina looked through the window at Raja. The tiger was lying in her corner, but her ears kept moving as she listened to every sound. She looks dangerous to me, Mina said. Have you read the reports about the attacks? Taeho asked. Yes. 2 aliens dead, 1 badly injured. All happened when they went into her cage. But what were they doing when she attacked? Mina frowned. The reports just say they were training her. I talked to some of the other researchers. They were using electric shock weapons. They were trying to force her to lie down and roll over like a dog. When she refused, they increased the pain level. That's horrible. Tigers are not dogs. They don't submit to pain. They fight back. Those aliens weren't killed by a monster. They were killed by an animal defending herself from torture. Mina sat down next to Taeho. So what do you want to do about it? I need to get closer to her. I need to show these aliens that tigers can be calm and gentle if you treat them right. Zephon will never allow that. Then we don't ask Zephon. That night Taeho could not sleep. He kept thinking about Raja alone in her white prison. He got up and walked through the quiet station corridors. Most of the aliens were in sleep mode during the night cycle. The station felt empty and cold. He found himself outside Research Wing 7. The security door required a special code to enter. Taeho was about to leave when he heard footsteps behind him. Can't sleep either? It was Korth, the station's head of security. He was an Altarian, a species that looked like gray-skinned humans with silver eyes. I was just walking, Taeho said. Thinking about the tiger? Taeho nodded. She doesn't deserve to live like this. Korth was quiet for a moment. I've been watching the security videos from when we first brought her here. The creature was calm when she arrived, confused but not aggressive. It was only after the training started that she became violent. You believe me? I've seen many different species react to captivity. Fear and pain make all creatures dangerous, even humans. Korth moved to the security panel and entered his code. The door clicked open. I'm not supposed to do this, Korth said, but I think you're right about the tiger. Maybe it's time someone tried a different approach. Taeho's heart raced. You'll let me see her? Not inside the cage. That's too dangerous for both of you. But there's an observation area below her enclosure. You can get closer there. She might be able to smell you, hear your voice better. They took a service elevator down 1 level. Korth led Taeho through a narrow hallway to a small room directly under Raja's cage. There was a thick glass panel in the ceiling. Through it, Taeho could see the bottom of Raja's enclosure. This is where the cleaning robots enter, Korth explained. The glass is strong enough to hold her weight if she walks on it. How often can I come here? Night shift only. And if anyone asks, you were never here. Korth left Taeho alone in the small room. Taeho looked up through the glass panel. At first he saw nothing. Then a shadow moved across the glass. Raja was directly above him. The tiger seemed to sense something different. She stopped pacing and stood still on the glass. Her head moved back and forth as she tried to figure out what had changed. Hello, Raja, Taeho said softly in Korean. Don't be afraid. I'm here to help you. Raja's ears perked up. She had never heard this kind of voice before. All the aliens spoke in harsh, mechanical tones. This sound was warm and gentle. I know you're scared, Taeho continued. I know they've been hurting you. But not all creatures are bad. Some of us just want to be your friend. Raja pressed her face against the glass. She could smell something new, something that reminded her of the forests back home. The scent of a creature that ate plants and lived peacefully with other animals. Taeho reached up and placed his hand on the glass. Raja could see the pink palm through the transparent barrier. Slowly, she lowered her own paw until it was directly above his hand. Only the glass separated them. They stayed like that for several minutes. Human and tiger, looking at each other through the barrier. Raja's golden eyes were still wary, but some of the wildness had faded. She was curious about this strange new creature who spoke so softly. I'm going to come back tomorrow night, Taeho promised, and every night after that. I won't let them hurt you anymore. When Taeho finally left, Raja stayed by the glass for a long time. For the first time in months, she felt something other than fear and anger. She felt a tiny spark of hope. The next morning, Mina found Taiho in the cafeteria. He looked tired but more determined than before. "I need your help," he told her. "I need access to Earth's animal databases. I want to show the aliens how tigers really behave in the wild." "I can get you into the communication system," Mina said. "But what's your plan?" "These aliens think tigers are mindless killers because that's all they've ever seen. But on Earth, tigers can be gentle, playful, even affectionate. I need proof." Mina helped Taiho access videos from Earth's wildlife preserves. They found footage of tigers playing with their cubs, swimming in rivers, and even interacting peacefully with human caretakers who had raised them from babies. "Look at this," Taiho said, pointing to a video of a tiger named Sasha nuzzling her human caretaker. "Tigers are capable of love and trust, but only if you earn it." That night, Taiho returned to the observation room under Raja's cage. This time he brought something with him. A small speaker playing the sounds of a Siberian forest. Wind through pine trees, the call of birds, the sound of running water. Raja heard the familiar sounds and immediately came to the glass. She pressed her ear against the barrier, listening to the voices of home. For the first time since her capture, she made a sound that wasn't a growl or snarl. She chuffed, a soft noise that tigers make when they're content. "You remember home, don't you, girl?" Taiho whispered. "Someday I'll help you get back there." Over the following nights, Taiho's visits became routine. He would bring different sounds from Earth. Sometimes he would sing Korean lullabies. Raja began to look forward to these meetings. She would wait by the glass for him to arrive. Slowly, the fear in her eyes was being replaced by something else. Trust was growing between them, one quiet night at a time. 2 weeks passed. Every night, Taiho visited Raja in the observation room. He brought her sounds from Earth, spoke to her in gentle Korean, and simply sat with her in comfortable silence. The tiger began to change. During the day, Raja was still, nervous around the alien researchers, but she no longer paced constantly. She ate her food more calmly. Sometimes she would lie by the glass floor where she had met Taiho, as if waiting for night to come. Mina helped Taiho gather more information about tiger behavior. They learned that tigers have excellent memories and can form strong emotional bonds with creatures they trust. They also discovered that Raja had been captured near a wildlife preserve where she had been cared for by human rangers since she was a cub. "That explains why she responded to you so quickly," Mina said. "She already knew that humans could be kind." One night, Taiho made a decision that would change everything. Instead of staying in the observation room, he asked Korth to let him into Raja's actual enclosure. "Absolutely not," Korth said. "If something happens to you, I'll be blamed." "Nothing will happen. She trusts me now. She's still a wild animal. Wild animals are unpredictable. Please, just 5 minutes. I need to show the other aliens that tigers aren't monsters." Korth struggled with the decision. He had seen how Raja's behavior had improved over the past 2 weeks. The tiger seemed calmer, more at peace. But if Taiho was wrong, if Raja attacked him, it would prove that the aliens were right about Earth animals being too dangerous. 5 minutes, Korth finally agreed. "But I'll be watching every second. If she shows any sign of aggression, I'm pulling you out immediately." They went up to Raja's main enclosure. Through the observation window, they could see the tiger lying in her usual corner. She looked up when she heard footsteps. Korth opened the outer door, then the inner airlock. Taiho stepped into the white chamber that had been Raja's prison for months. Raja immediately stood up. Her ears were forward, alert but not afraid. She had been expecting to see robots or aliens with their harsh voices and electric weapons. Instead, she saw the human who had been visiting her every night. "Hello, beautiful girl," Taiho said softly. "It's me, your friend." Raja took a step forward, then stopped. She was confused. This was the first time any living creature had entered her space without trying to hurt her. She didn't know what to do. Taiho sat down on the floor and made himself as small as possible. He didn't look directly at Raja's eyes, which tigers see as a challenge. Instead, he looked slightly to the side, and waited. Minutes passed. Raja slowly approached, stopping every few steps to sniff the air. She could smell that Taiho was nervous but not afraid. There was no scent of aggression or threat. When she was close enough, Raja extended her head toward Taiho's hand. Her wet nose touched his palm. The contact sent a shock through both of them. For Taiho, it was the moment he had been working toward for weeks. For Raja, it was the first gentle touch she had felt since her capture. "You're so beautiful," Taiho whispered. "I'm sorry they hurt you. I'm sorry you've been so alone." Raja made a soft, chuffing sound. She bumped her massive head against Taiho's shoulder, nearly knocking him over. It was a gesture of affection, the way tigers greet their friends. Korth watched through the window in amazement. The killer tiger was being as gentle as a house cat. She rubbed against Taiho like she was trying to comfort him. The 5 minutes stretched to 10, then 15. Raja lay down next to Taiho, close enough that he could feel her warmth. When he slowly reached out to pet her fur, she closed her eyes and purred. The sound was deep and rumbling, like a massive engine running smoothly. "I have to go now," Taiho finally said. "But I'll be back tomorrow." As he stood to leave, Raja got up too. She followed him to the door and watched sadly as he left. For the first time since her capture, she didn't want to be alone. That night, Taiho was so excited he couldn't sleep. He had proven that tigers could be gentle and trusting. He had shown that the right approach could turn a monster into a friend. He couldn't wait to tell the alien researchers what he had learned. But his joy was short-lived. The next morning, he was called to Director Valix's office. Zephon was there too, along with several other alien scientists. They all looked angry. "You violated protocol," Zephon said coldly. "You entered the creature's enclosure without permission. How did you know?" "All areas of the station are monitored. We reviewed the security footage." Valix activated a screen that showed the video of Taiho's visit with Raja. "This was extremely reckless behavior. But look at the results," Taiho said. She was completely calm. She showed affection, not aggression. "This proves that tigers aren't naturally violent." "It proves nothing," Zephon snapped. "The creature was probably planning to attack you when you left. These animals are clever. They pretend to be friendly before they strike." "That's not true. She was genuinely happy to see me." "You anthropomorphize the beast. You see emotions that don't exist." Director Valix held up a hand for silence. "Regardless of what happened, you disobeyed direct orders. As punishment, you are banned from Research Wing 7. You will not be allowed near the tiger again." Taiho felt his heart sink. "Please, you don't understand. I can help her. I can show you how to care for tigers properly." "The decision is final," Valix said. "Furthermore, the creature will be transferred to Maximum Security Facility Omega-7 tomorrow. There, it will undergo necessary medical procedures." "What kind of procedures?" Zephon smiled coldly. "Brain tissue analysis, genetic modification testing. We're going to find out what makes Earth animals so violent, and then we're going to fix it. You're going to kill her. We're going to study her, for the good of galactic science." That evening, Taiho sat in his quarters feeling hopeless. He had come so close to proving that tigers could be peaceful. He had shown that kindness worked better than fear. But the aliens refused to believe what they had seen with their own eyes. Mina found him staring out his window at the stars. "I heard what happened," she said. "I'm sorry. They're going to kill her tomorrow. They're going to cut open her brain to see what makes her violent. Maybe there's still something we can do." "Like what?" "I'm banned from the research wing. Security won't let me anywhere near her. Then we'll have to find another way." That night, while most of the station slept, Korth made his regular security rounds. When he reached Research Wing 7, he was surprised to find the corridor empty. Usually there were at least 2 guards posted outside the dangerous specimen area. He checked his computer and saw that all guards had been reassigned to prepare for tomorrow's transfer. The wing was being monitored by cameras only. Korth thought about the video he had watched earlier. The human and the tiger sitting together peacefully. The gentle way the massive predator had treated her friend. He had never seen anything like it in all his years of security work. He made a decision that would have surprised even him a few weeks ago. He walked to Raja's enclosure and entered his security code. Inside her cage, Raja was restless. She could sense that something was different. The aliens had been more active than usual. Strange machines had been brought to her level. She didn't understand what was happening, but she knew it wasn't good. When the door opened, she expected to see robots, or aliens. Instead, she saw Korth. The security chief had never entered her enclosure before, but Raja remembered his scent from the nights when he had helped Taiho visit. "I'm not supposed to be doing this," Korth said quietly. "But I think you deserve to see your friend one more time." 20 minutes later, Taiho was awakened by a soft knock on his door. When he opened it, Korth was standing in the hallway. "Come with me," Korth said. "Quickly. Where are we going?" "To say goodbye." They hurried through the dark corridors to Research Wing 7. When they reached Raja's enclosure, Taiho could see the tiger pacing anxiously back and forth. "You have 1 hour," Korth said. "After that, I have to lock everything down for the transfer." Taiho entered the enclosure for what he knew would be the last time. Raja immediately came to him, pressing her head against his chest. She seemed to understand that this was a farewell. "I'm so sorry, girl," Taiho whispered, wrapping his arms around her massive neck. "I tried to save you. I wanted to show them that you're not a monster." Raja purred deeply, the sound vibrating through both their bodies. She seemed to be trying to comfort him, even though she was the one in danger. They sat together on the floor of the White Chamber. Taiho told Raja stories about the forests of Siberia, about other tigers who lived free and happy lives. He promised her that someday, humans would return to the stars and no animal would ever be treated the way she had been treated. As the hour ended, Taiho fell asleep against Raja's warm side. The stress and sadness of the day had exhausted him. Raja curled her massive body around him protectively and rested her chin on his shoulder. When Korth came to get Taiho, he found them sleeping peacefully together. Human and tiger, natural enemies according to alien science, resting in perfect trust and companionship. Korth quietly activated his personal recorder and captured the image. Somehow, he knew this moment would be important later. The morning of Raja's transfer, the entire station buzzed with activity. Special transport containers had arrived from maximum security facility Omega 7. These were designed to hold the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. They looked more like metal coffins than animal carriers. Taiho watched from his quarters as teams of security personnel prepared the equipment. Each container had electric shock panels, sleep gas dispensers, and restraint systems that could hold down a creature 10 times Raja's size. "They're treating her like a weapon of mass destruction," Mina said, joining Taiho at the window. "She doesn't deserve this," Taiho replied. "She's just an animal who wants to be left in peace." At 0800 hours, the transfer began. Director Valex and Chief Researcher Zephon supervised as the transport container was moved to Research Wing 7. The plan was simple. Use sleep gas to knock Raja unconscious, then move her into the container using robotic arms. But space stations are complex machines, and complex machines sometimes fail. At 0847 hours, a power surge in the station's main reactor caused a cascade failure in the security systems. Emergency. Lights began flashing throughout the facility. Containment doors unlocked automatically as safety protocols engaged to prevent personnel from being trapped during an evacuation. In Research Wing 7, every cage door clicked open at the same time. The first creature to escape was a Venusian acid spitter that had been captured 6 months earlier. It slithered out of its enclosure and immediately began dissolving everything it touched. Within minutes, the corridor walls were smoking with acidic damage. Next came a pack of Martian tunnel worms. These creatures were the size of large dogs, but moved through solid rock like it was water. They began boring holes through the station's structure, weakening the entire wing. Security teams rushed to contain the various escaped specimens, but they were overwhelmed. The station had never experienced a multiple containment breach before. Panic spread through the facility as aliens evacuated to secure areas. In the chaos, no one noticed that Raja's door had also opened. The tiger stepped cautiously out of her white prison cell. For the first time in months, she could move freely. The corridor stretched in both directions, offering paths she had never been allowed to explore. Raja could smell fear and confusion everywhere. Alarms were ringing. Strange creatures were running through the hallways. Her instincts told her to find a safe place to hide until the danger passed. She padded silently through the damaged corridors, avoiding the other escaped animals. Unlike them, she wasn't interested in revenge or destruction. She just wanted to find somewhere quiet and secure. But the station's security system had other plans. Automated defense turrets detected her movement and began tracking her with their weapons. Laser targeting beams painted red dots on her fur as the machines prepared to fire. Raja ran. She had learned to fear those red lights during her captivity. They always meant pain was coming. The chase led her deeper into the station, through areas she had never seen before. She found herself in a section with wider corridors and higher ceilings. This was the civilian area where the researchers lived and worked. Behind her, she could hear the heavy footsteps of security forces. They were using sonic disruptors and electric nets, trying to drive her into a corner where she could be recaptured. Their shouting voices echoed off the metal walls. Target is moving towards Section C7. Cut off all escape routes. Use maximum force. This one has already killed. Raja burst through a set of doors and found herself in a large open area. It was the station's main recreational facility, filled with tables, chairs, and alien artwork. Dozens of researchers were huddled against the far wall, too frightened to move. The security forces followed her into the room and spread out in a semicircle. They raised their weapons and prepared to fire. From their perspective, they had cornered a dangerous predator that had already proven its willingness to kill. "Stand down, creature!" the security chief shouted. "Surrender or be destroyed." Raja crouched low and snarled. She was trapped with nowhere to run. The aliens were pointing their painful weapons at her again. After weeks of growing trust and hope, she was back to being treated like a monster. The security forces began charging their weapons. The air crackled with energy as the deadly devices prepared to fire. Then, through the crowd of armed aliens, a single human pushed forward. "Stop," Tejo shouted. "Don't shoot her!" "Stay back, human," the security chief warned. "The creature is extremely dangerous." "No, she's not." Tejo ignored the weapons pointed in his direction and walked steadily toward Raja. "She's just scared." The tiger saw him approaching, and her entire posture changed. Her ears came forward. Her tail stopped lashing. The snarl faded from her face. "Get away from it!" Zephon screamed from somewhere behind the security line. "It will kill you!" Tejo knelt down 3 feet from Raja and extended his hand. "Hello, beautiful girl, it's... Okay, I'm here." The entire room held its breath. Aliens with recording devices captured every second as the human slowly reached toward the killer tiger. Raja sniffed his hand, recognizing his scent immediately. This was her friend, the one who had visited her every night, the one who had spoken to her with kindness and sung her gentle songs. She stepped forward and pressed her massive head into his palm. The crowd gasped. Weapons lowered slightly as security forces watched in amazement. "That's my good girl," Tejo whispered. He could see that Raja was bleeding from a small cut on her shoulder, where a laser beam had grazed her during the chase. "Did they hurt you?" "I'm so sorry." Raja made her soft, chuffing sound and lay down next to Tejo. She was exhausted from running and afraid from being hunted. But now her friend was here, and she felt safe again. Tejo sat beside her and began gently stroking her fur. Raja closed her eyes and purred, the deep rumbling sound filling the silent room. "Impossible," someone whispered. "The creature should be attacking. Why is it making that noise?" Mina had followed the security forces to the recreational area. She activated her recording device and began documenting everything she saw. "For the record," she announced loudly, "the tiger designated as Raja is showing no signs of aggression. She is calm, relaxed, and displaying affectionate behavior toward Dr. Kim Tejo. This contradicts all previous reports about her violent nature." Director Valix pushed through the crowd to get a better view. What he saw challenged everything he thought he knew about Earth animals. The tiger that had killed two of his researchers was lying peacefully next to a human. She wasn't restrained or sedated. She wasn't showing any signs of the rage that had made her so dangerous before. She looked like a completely different animal. "How is this possible?" Valix asked. "She was never violent by nature," Taiho explained without taking his eyes off Raja. "She was reacting to abuse and fear. Tigers are intelligent, emotional creatures. They respond to kindness just like any other thinking being. But she killed our trainers. Because your trainers were torturing her. She was defending herself, not hunting for pleasure." Zephon stepped forward, his face twisted with anger. "This proves nothing. The beast is simply waiting for the right moment to strike." As if responding to his harsh tone, Raja lifted her head and looked at Zephon. Her golden eyes were calm but alert. She made no move to attack, but her gaze seemed to say, "I remember you. You were one of the ones who hurt me." "She remembers who was cruel to her," Taiho said quietly. "And she remembers who was kind." Tigers have excellent memories for both kindness and cruelty. The standoff continued for several more minutes. Security forces weren't sure what to do. Their orders were to recapture the escaped tiger, but she wasn't acting like an escaped prisoner. She was acting like a pet who had found her owner. Finally, Korth made the decision. "Stand down," he ordered his teams. "The creature is contained and showing no aggressive behavior." "You cannot be serious," Zephon protested. "It's a trick. The beast is manipulating us." "Look at her," Korth replied. "Does she look like she's planning an attack?" Raja had closed her eyes again and was purring contentedly as Taiho continued to pet her. One of her massive paws was resting gently on his leg. If she had wanted to hurt him, she could have killed him instantly. Instead, she was treating him like a beloved friend. "This changes everything," Director Valix said slowly. "If Earth animals can form emotional bonds with other species, then our entire understanding of your planet's ecosystem is wrong." "Very wrong," Taiho agreed. "Tigers aren't monsters. They're magnificent, intelligent creatures capable of love, loyalty, and trust. You just have to earn those things instead of trying to force them." The crowd began to disperse as the immediate danger passed, but many aliens lingered, fascinated by the sight of the predator and her human friend. Word spread quickly through the station's communication systems. The tiger that had terrorized the research staff was sleeping peacefully in a human's lap. The image would be transmitted across the galaxy within hours. The recording of Taiho and Raja in the recreational area spread across the galactic communication network faster than anyone had expected. Within 6 hours, beings on 1,000 different worlds had seen the footage of the killer tiger purring in a human's lap. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Research stations throughout the galaxy began reporting similar incidents. A Arcturian scientist mentioned that the Earth wolf they had captured was showing signs of depression and fear, not natural aggression. A vegan facility admitted that their captured Earth dolphins had been trying to communicate with their handlers through complex songs and gestures. Dr. Leon Kex, the galaxy's most respected animal behaviorist, sent a priority message to Kepler Station. Request immediate access to observe human-animal interaction protocols. Previous assumptions about Earth species may be fundamentally incorrect. Director Valix found himself facing pressure from the highest levels of the Galactic Council. The Council's Ethics Committee wanted a full investigation into how Earth animals had been treated at research facilities. The Scientific Review Board demanded new protocols for studying intelligent species, but the most powerful voice came from an unexpected source. Admiral Vera Sands was the human representative to the Galactic Council. She had been negotiating Earth's membership in the galactic community for months. When she saw the footage from Kepler Station, she immediately contacted Director Valix. "Director," her voice was calm but carried unmistakable authority. "I understand. You have been conducting experiments on Earth animals without proper protocols. Admiral Sands, I can explain. The explanation is simple. You captured intelligent beings and subjected them to torture. Then you blamed them for defending themselves." Valix felt uncomfortable. The creatures were studied according to standard procedures for dangerous specimens. Tigers are not dangerous specimens, Director. They are apex predators with complex social and emotional lives. They form family bonds, show grief when separated from loved ones, and can develop deep friendships with other species, including humans. How are we supposed to know this? By asking us. Earth has been studying tigers for centuries. We could have told you everything you needed to know about their behavior, their needs, and their intelligence. The conversation ended with Admiral Sands delivering an ultimatum. Kepler Station had 72 hours to implement new protocols for all Earth animals in their custody, or the human government would withdraw from all scientific cooperation agreements. Director Valix called an emergency meeting of his senior staff. The political situation has changed, he announced. We need to reevaluate our approach to Earth species immediately. Chief Researcher Zephon was furious. This is ridiculous. We cannot let emotions dictate scientific policy. The creatures are still dangerous. Are they? Valix activated the wall screen and showed the footage of Taiho with Raja. This tiger had killed 2 of our people. According to your reports, it was uncontrollably violent. Yet here it is, calm and peaceful, with a human who treated it kindly. It's an anomaly. One case proves nothing. Then explain this. Valix showed more footage that had arrived from other stations. A human researcher playing with Earth dolphins. Another human comforting a frightened wolf. A third teaching a group of monkeys to paint pictures. Every facility that has tried the human approach has seen similar results. The debate continued for hours, but the outcome was inevitable. The evidence was too strong to ignore. Earth animals weren't naturally violent. They were responding to fear, stress, and mistreatment. 3 days later, Taiho was officially appointed as the station's first director of Earth species welfare. His first act was to completely redesign Raja's living space. The new habitat was enormous, spanning 3 levels of the research wing. It had trees, rocks, a flowing stream, and caves where Raja could hide when she wanted privacy. The walls were covered with images of Siberian forests. Speakers played the sounds of wind through pine trees and distant bird calls. When Raja first saw her new home, she stood in the entrance for several minutes, overwhelmed by the space and the familiar sights and sounds. Then she ran to the stream and drank deeply from flowing water for the first time since her capture. She's beautiful when she's happy, Meena observed, watching Raja explore her new territory. All animals are, Taiho replied. Fear makes them ugly. Love makes them magnificent. Over the following weeks, other Earth animals began arriving at Kepler Station. But now they came as volunteers, not captives. Human researchers accompanied each species, teaching the alien scientists how to provide proper care. The first was Jinho, a wildlife expert who brought 2 red pandas named Maple and Oak. The aliens were amazed by how playful and curious the pandas were when they felt safe and comfortable. Next came Dr. Lee Yuna with a family of meerkats. She showed the alien researchers how these small creatures had complex social structures and communication systems. The meerkats quickly became popular with the station's younger staff members, who enjoyed watching their elaborate games and interactions. Each new arrival proved the same point. Earth animals were not monsters. They were intelligent, emotional, beings with individual personalities and needs. Raja became the unofficial ambassador for this new understanding. Visitors from across the galaxy came to see the famous tiger, who had changed how the universe viewed Earth's wildlife. She seemed to enjoy the attention, often performing for crowds by swimming in her stream or climbing to the top of her artificial trees. But her favorite times were still the quiet moments with Taiho. Every evening, he would visit her habitat, and they would sit together by the stream. Sometimes he would read to her from books about Earth's forests. Sometimes